And I guess I would ask, to what end?
It's to allow people of a historically marginalized and abused population, the LGBTQ people, that they are accepted, that they are safe in this community. Many of you know I'm from the state of Idaho. I'm a sixth-generation Idahoan. The way I understand it, my family was there before, not to give you the whole rundown, but before it was even a state, right? Migrated over with the Mormons, and then, shit happens within families, and my immediate family was no longer Mormon. We were wildly insane, evangelical, nutter-buttered Christian nationalists, right? Well, Idaho is absolutely chock full of bigots, but there is a percentage of the state that does not play like that does not agree with that nonsense. And this is one of the problems that I have when people say we can just write off the state of Texas, Texas, because it's filled with bigots and a bunch of Greg Abbott lovers and Trumpers. Yeah, but there's still a wildly disproportionate number of Democrats and people who are decent in the state. It's not all bigots. There's certainly an outsized number of them, chock full, as I said at the beginning. But Idaho is one of these states that does have decent people in it, and they are standing up for their neighbors in this moment. This is something that the reason I'm going to talk about this, I know it's Idaho, and people are like, people couldn't point at Idaho on a map, a lot of people. But this is the path forward for municipalities and states all across the country who are going to be battling both the federal government, largely, but also municipalities who are going to be fighting the state legislatures. And that's what's taking place right now in Idaho, relative specifically to Boise. Now, Boise, not Boise, just so you know, if you want to talk like a local. A House bill made it through. It's House Bill 96 in Idaho, outlawing the display of pride flags and other such flags on government property, right? This is the text. I have the bill in my hand. I'm going to read this portion of it. Get my glasses since I'm old and my eyes don't work. House Bill number 96, an act relating to flags and flag protocol, amending section whatever, Idaho Code, to provide that a governmental entity shall only display certain flags. Be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Idaho, and then I'm going to skip down here, a governmental entity shall not display a flag on its property other than the following: the United States flag, the official flag of a governmental entity as defined in this section, official flags of any state in the United States, official flags of any of the military branches and units of the United States, the POW MIA flag as provided for in section of Idaho Code, and official flags of Indian tribes, right? Obviously, this is not out of some loyalty or fealty or duty to the government and the state flag and the United States flag and the Constitution and all this jingoistic fake patriotism that these Republicans want to put on display all the time. This is about trying to erase the existence, the acknowledgement of the existence of LGBTQ people. And specifically in this moment, trans people. Because Boise, for a decade or more, has flown the pride flag and now flies what I think is called the trans-inclusionary pride flag, the thing with the corner on the short end. You'll see it. I'm going to play a video from KTVB, which is the NBC affiliate there in Boise. And Boise has now done a workaround where they've made the pride flag and one of the official flags of the city of Boise getting around this bigoted bullshit. And I cannot speak more highly of this effort of the city council and of the mayor, other than one lone Republican bigoted city council member. This was passed. And this is the way forward. This is how it's done. Watch this from the NBC News affiliate KTVB in Boise.
If people are disrupting, they'll be ushered out into the lobby.
Tense moments tonight, right before Boise City Council voted to make the pride flag an official city flag.
This is the latest in the back and forth between the Boise mayor and Idaho's attorney general over a new state law restricting what flags can fly on government property.
Our Abby Davis was at City Hall earlier. Abby, hundreds of people showed up for this.
Right. Most were there to support the city and what they call a symbol of inclusivity. About a dozen community members protested. In a big show of support,
It's been flying it for a long time.
Boiseans lined the barricades outside City Hall Tuesday, hoping council members would pass a resolution making the pride flag an official flag of Boise. The same flag the Attorney General recently asked the city to take down.
I am a queer woman, and it's hard to deal with some of the hate in this state at the moment.
We are changing the system because we must.
It was standing room only in council chambers as City Council eventually voted yes. Councilmember Luci Willits was the only no.
And I suspect this will pass. And there'll be people in this room that will cheer and people who will be furious. And I guess I would ask, to what end?
President Colin Nash says he sponsored the controversial resolution to help the city comply with the new state law outlining what flags are allowed on government property. It states official flags of a government entity are legal, but doesn't specify what falls under that category.
I think there is an expectation among the opponents of it that the government should remain neutral in issues like this. I'm not neutral on defending marginalized neighbors.
This is a political statement by McLean today.
Robert Coggins was one of several protesters.
It's exclusionary. I don't think it's inclusionary. I just want to be able to have a voice. I feel like I do not have a voice, and this mayor does not let me have a voice.
It represents everybody. We all have friends or family that are LGBTQ.
The city of Boise started flying the pride flag more than a decade ago. The resolution also includes the blue City of Trees flag and a flag honoring National Donate Life Month. It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out, considering the mayor and attorney general are locked in a battle about the state law and what it does or doesn't say. And Morgan and Bryan Councilmember Willis says that she expects this to go through the courts.
If not through the courts, then at least through the legislature, where it's been recommended they add an enforcement mechanism to this bill next legislative session. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, thanks, Abby.
Now, there's two things I want to talk about. Two characters in that video that you just watched, if you're still here, that I want to talk about. One is the Robert Coggins guy, you know, the guy with the sweet 80s perm, who really is signaling a lot of Idaho sentiment there, where he says, I'm just a native Idahoan. He wants to really drive that point home, that his opinion is more important than others might be because he's born there. I say it just to give some credence to my opinion that I'm not just speaking out of turn about a state I know nothing about. Born there, reared there, right? I'm just a native Idahoan. I feel like I do not have a voice, and this mayor does not let me have a voice. I think the flag, the pride flag, is exclusionary. It doesn't represent me. Does the POW MIA flag represent you, Robert Coggins? It's allowed by the state of Idaho. The Michigan state flag, the Louisiana state flag, the Florida state flag is allowed by the state of Idaho to be flown outside of the Boise City Hall. Do those flags represent you? I was in the Marine Corps, so if they flew the Marine Corps flag, which is approved by the Idaho State Legislature, that would represent me, but would it represent you? I was in the Marine Corps. The Army flag doesn't represent me, but do you see what I'm doing here? Dipshit. Sweet perm, though. The other one is Luci Willits, the lone bigoted, empty-headed moron on the Boise City Council, who said that one question at the very end there. To what end? To what end are we doing this? Let me put it plainly and simply for you, Luce. Is Lucy short for Lucifer? Just asking questions, Luci Willits. To what end? Let me explain the end. It's to allow people of a historically marginalized, and to say marginalized doesn't even get it done, murdered and abused and tortured population, the LGBTQ people, that they are accepted, that they are safe in this community, and that they are supported by their government. That's the end to which this measure will serve. Very happy to see so many good and decent people with morals and love and kindness and compassion and empathy for others show up to support this measure. And good for your Boise, good for you, KTV, good coverage, fantastic. Look, I'm going to be in Boise for the better part of next week. I'll still be working, but I'm going to hope to hit the ground and talk to some people about this since this just broke. I'd love your opinion. If you live in Idaho, you can communicate with me. Comment down below, or you can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can get at me the old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work if you appreciate what I do. If I bring you value, become a channel member for $2 a month. Click the join button. Go hit my Patreon page, patreon.com/idoubtitpodcast. And I'll see you next time. I love and appreciate you very much. Be genuine, and take care of one another.